Be very, very careful with what Ethereum is telling us. Notice how its price has clearly and aggressively impacted a very relevant structure. Let's take a trip down memory lane. Where does this structure come from? Here in the daily chart, we can see a macro bullish channel, but that's beside the point. Look at this distribution. The price enters a range for smart money to sell. Ethereum was in 2021, and throughout this range, we will pay close attention to the PARC, the point of control. It is the level where there has been the highest transactional volume throughout the distributive process that gave rise, as you can see, to the crypto bearish market. And now, at this very moment, the price is reacting to the same level. In this video, we are going to answer the following question: should we be concerned about this or not? So, back to the 15-minute time frame on the Ethereum chart. What we were observing in a previous live session of Crypto Insight was that when the price was around this area, I would still bet on a bearish continuation in the market. Here, you have this micro channel in the 15-minute time frame. We are seeing how they set a trap for us here, but they are validating the structure. Here, they compressed us, distributed us, and now a strong bearish impulse is coming. The sentiment I have is bearish. All right, my sentiment is bearish, and now I honestly have doubts that they want to offer us a good entry point before falling. I have my doubts in the sense that I don't know if they're going to knock it down already. And now that we have seen that finally the market tipped over, something that we were really putting on the table, that the price was knocked down immediately, seeing that this finally happened, we can now go to a 4-hour time frame specifically. As in that time frame, we will see everything much clearer. What are we seeing here? Clearly, they have set a creek for us, a very relevant level, and it is here where we will assess whether the smart money is distributing here to knock down the market or not. And now you are seeing the order flow chart also in its 4-hour time frame. Notice how they set the creek for us and how they have recently pierced it. Okay, why have we included this chart? First, we want to analyze the delta and what catches our attention about the delta. In this chart, we don't have it drawn, but you may have seen in the TradingView chart that a very relevant level passes through here. In other words, the only line we had drawn from weeks ago in Crypto Insight passes through here. Why? Because it's relevant. Why else would it be? That said, considering that a very relevant level passes through here, what have we come to analyze? Hey, if you look at the delta down here, what are we observing? Hasn't this delta blatantly oriented towards the bit caught your attention? In other words, how is it possible that the price, in an aggressive bullish climactic action that comes to impact a relevant level? What we find here, blatantly, is bit. In other words, closing of old shorts, and also initiation of shorts to the market. All this concentrated at this point. You are already seeing the impact of this event. The important thing here is to understand it. You've just realized now that the rest of the YouTube channels where they claim to analyze cryptocurrencies or other assets are worthless. Hey, that's what you thought. I didn't say it. Another thing that catches our attention, of course, is the attempt to buy the market at such an inefficient level. Of course, they have absorbed all that bullish liquidity. In the end, here we see ASK that is not able to prosper. That's why it's clear that they have absorbed it, and that's why we see the price falling. And now you must pay close attention to the Solana chart. Frankly, I don't remember if we talked about this wedge in the last Crypto Insight video, or only shared it in the live streams we do very often, really daily, within Crypto Insight. Alright, let's first lower the time frame to 1 hour, and now look when the price was around this point, approximately. And I remember now, it was in a YouTube video. What we were saying was very likely was that we would continue the range with a small bearish trap to look for a bullish climactic action. Something as simple as seeing the defense zone being breached. That's what it's going to do. What it could do is to catapult Solana's price with strong aggressiveness, frankly. If we lose Solana's defense zone, after the same time perceiving this as a trap and that they have generated the impulse, why not expect a small correction, who knows or not, to look for a macro bullish replica? We'll see if this will be a final climactic action or simply part of the channel's course that in the future could offer us such a climactic bullish action. Have you thought again that Crypto Insight is very valuable and you just realized that you are not subscribed to the channel? Friend, if you find the advanced technical analysis we do on this channel interesting, let me know in the comments. Also, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and click on the bell so you don't miss future opportunities. That said, let's remember, what importance are we giving then to Solana's bullish wedge? The follow-up I'm giving to this wedge, we're going to see it in 4 hours. And what does this wedge represent for us? Why is it so important? In the end, this is nothing but a technical indicator of the highest quality. Well, we're just observing, keeping an eye on it, to see what happens with this wedge. If in the future, which we don't know, the wedge were to be forcefully finally pierced. This could be a prelude to the crypto wanting to work a bearish path. But beware, it's an indicator. The price, if it feels like it, can continue to rise and we would immediately forget about this wedge. As I'm repeating, it's an indicator. It's like a moving average crossover indicator. If you don't see the moving average crossover executed, you don't do anything. Do you understand? Therefore, what catches my attention? What catches my attention is that we already had the wedge structure well identified and that we have experienced this bullish trap to then confirm it. Honestly, this event a priori must be given importance. And now, let's delve into the order flow chart to see what's happening here. And look, you're seeing the bullish wedge. We've just opened the candles inside to see what's really happening. Something that traditionally is invisible to your eyes. In Crypto Insight, we bring it to you, we lay it on the table, we interpret it, and we share it with you. What are we seeing here? What catches our attention? At first glance, we need to see this cluster as an attempt to buy desperately. However, we haven't seen any progression, and we see what happened next. But honestly, I ask myself here, who the heck bought there? Let's ask a question that I invite you to answer in the comments of this video. What do you think? What have the big institutions bought? Or instead, could it have been the retail investor? Not only at that point, but also look up here in the midst of a euphoric bullish breakout, buyers appear whose purchases do not seem to prosper. And the important thing, when we return to the structure, what do we see here? We see a large set of sales. Sales that, in the next candle, seem to continue accompanying. Now, it is vital to see what happens with this candle. Honestly, since we have here a prelude to a trap that with X-rays we clearly see has absorbed buyers. And now, if smart money decides to continue with sale number 1 and sale number 2, we will see if there is a sale number 3 that wants to push, sooner or later, the price down. That said, this is a technical indicator. We are simply trying to visualize how likely this breakout is. So if we see that the price level of 177.28 is not exceeded, maybe it is, but not by much, and then we see a strong structural breakout. Here is where Mosca would prioritize, seeking a bearish direction, not only in Solana, since we will use Solana as a proxy for the crypto ecosystem just because of how clear and evident it is showing us. And now let's analyze how interesting the Bitcoin chart is. But first, welcome to Crypto Insight, your ethical and moral channel for cryptocurrency technical analysis. Here, we really know what we're talking about. We conduct advanced technical analysis that has been developed for over 12 years. We upload videos several times a week. If you're enjoying what you're seeing, let me know and leave a comment with your opinion. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and click on the bell so you don't miss the next opportunity. Very well, let's provide context on time frames. We are seeing that with Solana, we are going to use it as a proxy to see if a bearish movement occurs. One might be asking, hey then, are we going to Third Ike? My goodness, of course not. A bearish movement in the market could happen. It's still to be confirmed, it's not known yet, but the macro sentiment, as I have been sharing with you for weeks, remains bullish. What does this mean? Ask yourself, do you know what a correction is? That's what could come. That's what we're assessing if it were to be confirmed, which at the time of this recording is not yet confirmed. So we're seeing Bitcoin battling with its own structure. It has just validated it. We come from a distribution that has broken and has come to seek its structure. Listen, in the live session of Crypto Insight Premium, we talked about how prudent it was to prioritize in the immediate term for intraday trading or scalping. In any case, longs, since we are in macro structural zones throughout the ecosystem, and ultimately, each bearish or bullish impulse can have its correction or attempt at it. But if later we see that Solana breaks that wedge, in Bitcoin we could see something similar, not infinite. Remember that we have our sights set on 78. I don't believe we won't visit it. Remember, it's the top of a macro bullish channel. If you want to see how we obtained this channel, I invite you to watch previous videos where we explain it. And now let's go down to the 15-minute time frame. Well, look, in previous live streams of Crypto Insight, we were working on a structure similar to this one, in which, after the breakout, we wanted to see a confirmation of the structure on which we were going to be able to look for a short in the market. Something immediate, with room. There we could consider a potential continuation. And as you can see, the bearish movement has been very strong in Bitcoin, but let's not lose perspective. What is the market sentiment? Why do you think I'm telling you that the macro sentiment is to look up? Do you realize how we talk about different time frames? As I was saying, perhaps Solana's wedge will never be broken. Therefore, we wouldn't expect a bearish continuation. Since we're not trying to predict the future or use a crystal ball, we're simply looking for indications to see what to expect if a specific event occurs. Take a look at what Cardano is telling us in its 4-hour time time frame. This is a very important level that we have broken and validated. And look, now let's go to a 15-minute time frame. And now look, when we were up here, see how much the price has dropped. In a Crypto Insight Premium live stream, when the price was specifically at this point, what we wanted to see was a bullish correction to look for our opportunity to sell Cardano and look for the downward movement. Cardano wants to give us that last bullet to look for that crypto separation to shoot. That bullet is given to us by Cardano. Okay, now let's go back to the 4-hour time frame, which gives us a lot of information about Cardano. As I said, this defense zone is key as we come from an accumulation process that has also been tricky. We come from a trap that has then confirmed a structure where the smart money is telling us, hey, if we're able to defend this level, don't worry, we can then continue looking up. That's the message. And you can see that we're in a critical situation where we see something clear. Now, the price is fighting to defend or lose the defense zone. See what the market is telling us. If we go back to Ethereum for a moment, what does it tell us? We've broken a distribution that comes from a compression of a relevant structure that the retail investor, of course, is unaware of. But we at Crypto Insight laid it out for you before the price reached it. And what is Ethereum telling us? My friend, here they are distributing to us and we have broken the creek with a lot of volume. Right now, there is a state of alert where there are possibilities of further decline. That's what Ethereum tells us as a possibility. While Solana tells us, buddy, if I catch a cold and move violently downwards, why not? I'm gonna get my creek, not to go to hell. Remember the macro X bullish sentiment. Believe me, if I don't repeat this in this way, some people get lost, and I don't blame them. It's complicated. I'm just explaining to you why I'm repeating myself so much in this video. As we're seeing that we're in a critical situation of continuing to look down, Ethereum tells us that there's that possibility. Solana tells us, hey buddy, be careful because if I sneeze badly, I'll fall over. And Cardano tells us, hey, I'm fighting against the ultimate frontier where everything is decided. And here's a question for you. What happens when an unexpected event occurs? A black swan. Remember that a black swan can occur both to the upside and to the downside, recognized by the College of Economists. Look it up. That said, what would be our black swan? If we're having signs that we might go down, the black swan would be that finally the price goes up. So look at the sweet spot Cardano is in. If Cardano is able to defend that structure, it's very likely that we'll go up strongly and that Solana's bearish wedge in the future could end up being discarded and we forget about it. What I told you at the beginning, but that's quite simple. We need to monitor the structures and see what the price does to us. Look at Bitcoin. Here we have a creek and in the live stream. What have we done? About an hour ago with the Crypto Insight community, we've already started looking for opportunities for intraday trading favoring an alpha move. Do you realize how the time frames, whether small, medium, or large, show us ideas that seem to contradict each other but all together form a whole? My friend, subscribe now to Crypto Insight. Remember, here we know what we're talking about. And as for Bitcoin, as you already know, we have its relevant macro structure here. We are considering the idea of a micro process of bullish accumulation. We'll see if they carry it out or not, but we will be monitoring Solana's wedge because if it doesn't deviate too much and starts to play with the idea of breaking, it would be warning us that Bitcoin may have accumulated for something small. But perhaps they are already preparing to break structures, and be careful. Not infinitely, it could be a trap, but they define a direction. And remember that the macro sentiment for the moment remains somewhat bullish at least until 78K, and then we will talk. Good luck with your trading, and remember to share our content with other trading and cryptocurrency communities and with your friends. And we'll see you in the next one. Good luck!